The top 5 Nintendo 64 games. In 1996, Nintendo released their third video game console, the Nintendo 64. On the console, a lot of great games were released with advanced 3D graphics and great gameplay. Narrowing the list down to just 5 games may be difficult, but today I give you the top 5 Nintendo 64 games. Number 5. Goldeneye 007. In 1997, Rare developed Goldeneye 007, a first-person shooter based on the James Bond film a couple of years earlier. In the game, there is a single-player campaign in which you control the secret agent James Bond as you try to prevent criminals from launching a satellite weapon. Goldeneye 007 also includes a split-screen multiplayer mode in which up to 4 players can play against each other. Graphically, the game features realistic animations and detailed environments. It is considered an important game in the history of first-person shooters by being one of the first of its kind. Due to its success, the game was highly praised and sold over 8 million copies worldwide. Number 4. Mario Kart 64. Due to the success of Mario Kart on the Super NES a few years earlier, Nintendo created Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64 for a 1997 release. Updates to the game include polygon-based true 3D computer graphics which made the game look fantastic. Take control of one of 8 characters and compete in up to 4 different game modes. In Grand Prix mode, race in 4 3-lap races, each taking place on different tracks. Time trial mode has you racing against the clock to try to finish with the best time. Versus mode lets you compete on any track against the computer or another player. Battle mode supports 2 to 4 players as you try to attack the other players in one of 4 arenas. Nintendo was able to improve on a timeless classic with Mario Kart 64, the second game in a great game franchise. Number 3. Super Smash Bros. Back in 1999, Nintendo decided to bring 8 Nintendo characters together in a fighting game. Eventually, 4 extra characters can be unlocked. When Super Smash Bros. Was released, it was very successful for Nintendo. Players must defeat their opponents with attacks, items, and power-ups on a variety of Nintendo-themed stages. Instead of memorizing button combinations like with other fighters, controls are much easier to use. You control a character that is able to roam freely around a particular stage. Super Smash Bros. Features fantastic music and an incredible multiplayer gameplay experience. It is a great game and the first in the series to spawn many sequels. Number 2. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. In 1998, Nintendo released Ocarina of Time, the 5th game in the Legend of Zelda series, and the first with 3D graphics. Travel the land of Hyrule on a quest to stop Ganondorf. You control Link in a revolutionary adventure that introduced great new features to the franchise. The name Ocarina of Time comes from the music that you learn in the game and play on your instrument. Link can acquire a horse named Epona, which makes for faster traveling. Link can also travel between 2 points in time. The game was extremely hyped up before release, and in the United States over 500,000 pre-orders were placed. On some lists, it has been named as the number 1 greatest video game of all time. Number 1. Super Mario 64. The number 1 Nintendo 64 game was actually playable since the day the Nintendo 64 was released. Super Mario 64 is an incredible game. It's the first fully 3D Mario game, and it's the first game to have a free camera that can be controlled independently of the character. In Super Mario 64, you must travel through Princess Peach's castle and jump into paintings to access courses where you can gather stars. As more stars are collected, more areas of the castle open up and become available. The goal is to eventually battle against Bowser in the final showdown and save Princess Peach. The game features groundbreaking graphics and superb controls using the Nintendo 64 analog stick. Super Mario 64 received widespread critical acclaim and is the best-selling Nintendo 64 game with 11 million copies sold. It won Electronic Gaming Monthly's Game of the Year. There are many great Nintendo 64 games, and it's difficult to list just the top 5. Here are some runner-up games that are not included in the top 5. Donkey Kong 64. Diddy Kong Racing. Star Fox 64. Banjo-Kazooie. I hope you enjoyed this list of the top 5 Nintendo 64 games. Be sure to check out my other top 5 videos. Please subscribe and have a great day.